Hi, I'm Damian at Liquid Kitty in West LA, California, and we're going to be talking about the Old Fashioned today. There's a lot of history of the Old Fashioned. First, where the name came from, it was common that a cocktail in the early 1800s was made with sugar or Goyim Syrup, which is like a simple syrup. And that was traditionally what a cocktail was, and they fell out of fashion for a long time. And then when they came back in the late 1800s, they started making this drink with a whiskey. Either it was a bourbon or a rye, or sometimes a scotch they would use with this drink. And the name came from, they said it was an old-fashioned drink because it was from the early 1800s rather than the late 1800s. And that's kind of where it came from. There's a lot of other lore about it. You're going to find that whatever bar you go into, they're going to have their own version of an old-fashioned. Some people will actually cut the rind off an orange and just give you the zest of the rind and a lemon. Some people will muddle it all together. If you're really into old fashions, you should ask whatever bar you're at. You should ask how they make it, if to your taste. Some places will use simple syrup, which will make it less sweet than using the whole sugar cube. And I'm going to show you how we do it here at Liquid Kitty. I've been bartending 30 years. And for a long time in New York, I made a lot of old fashions. And this is how we made them 30 years ago when I first started bartending. For about maybe 15 years, I didn't make one. They just disappeared. It wasn't until maybe 8 years ago when Mad Men came on that suddenly everybody wanted an old fashioned, and it came kind of back into favor. And now with the advent of craft cocktail bars and mixology and mixologists, everyone kind of has their own recipe, and some of them date back to the 1800s, some of them date to the 1950s, but they become popular again. And now I didn't make one for 15 years, and here I am making 10 or 20 a night. So we're going to start with a traditional rocks glass. Your Collins glasses are a little taller. Those are for like mixed drinks. These are usually just something on the rocks, like gin on the rocks, vodka rocks. But we use these for old fashions as well. Start with a sugar cube, a wedge of orange, and a cherry. Again, this is what we do here. It's an old recipe from the 50s rather than the 1800s. We'll soak everything in some Angostura bitters. It's an orange flavored bitters. And then we use the flat side of the muddler to muddle it all together. You get everything kind of blended. I like to leave the orange rind in there. It kind of gives a zest as well as the orange juice. So we make a nice concoction at the bottom. Today we use Maker's Mark. And here at the Kitty we free pour. A lot of places you'll see them use little measurers, but we free pour. So I give a nice 5 count. It's a little bit heavier than most places. You'll find some places will stir this together. I don't like to stir it. I like to leave it and let it sit. I top it with a scoop of ice and just finish it off with just a shot of soda water. And then put a straw on it. And I let everything settle on its own. It's up to the customer to stir it, mix it up, drink it the way it is. Drink it from the straw, get the liquor all the way to the soda water, or drink it from the soda water all the way down. It's up to them to do what they want with it. And that's our old fashioned at Liquid Kitty. The pina colada was or is the traditional drink of Puerto Rico and has been since 1978. The story behind the pina colada is that there are 3 or 4 bartenders in Puerto Rico who kind of claim responsibility for it. It's really tough to say who came up with it.